Hey everyone, welcome back to Poppin' In with Alexa and Molly. I'm Molly.
And I'm Alexa.
And this is Pedro Pascal week. I just want to start off by saying.
Sort of. I mean,
2 weeks.
Yeah, well, we should say from the top, we're going to be taking a little bit of a break the next couple weeks because one of us is booked and busy. We won't say who. You'll have to take a guess. But so we're going to be taking a couple weeks break and then we'll be back and better than ever. And you know what? I think absence makes the heart grow fonder.
You said something so sad to me the other day. It actually made me really sad. You were like, I think you could use this break from me. And I was like, no.
Well, I know I am like can be an annoying person.
Oh my gosh.
So sometimes I feel bad. I mean, we see each other a lot. Like I don't get annoyed with you, but I know I am like can be like I will send you 7 texts before 8 a.m. and then not reply for hours.
Well, would it make me not want to be around you though?
Okay. Well, I don't know.
But we have a very fun week this week, and that's why we won't. Well, never mind. I was gonna say that's why we won't be around, but that's not actually true.
Yeah, we're going to Newport, Rhode Island. Cheers!
Cheers
for my bachelorette.
Yeah.
Which was inspired by a pop culture moment, the Bob Dylan movie.
I know.
Very exciting.
I was thinking about that the other day.
And The Gilded Age. If you haven't seen it.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah.
We'll be doing a recap. I'm obsessed. And you know what? Actually, on that topic, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you. I've been waiting to talk to you about this. I've realized, I think I mentioned this the other day, I actually hate like week-to-week episodes because like, I'm watching The Gilded Age right now, and I'm watching The Buccaneers, both period piece things. When it's week to week, I feel like I'm not fully in it. I literally have been saving it, like, I'll watch one, and then I won't watch one for, like, 3 weeks, so that way I can watch them back to back, because, like, with those types of things, it's, like, such a world that you're building, like, it's an immersive experience.
Yeah, and if you get out of it, it's, like...
Yeah, and now I'm like, oh, now I have to go back to, like, logging time at work? Like, no, I want to be in The Gilded Age, put a railroad down, and send me back.
I do really have mixed feelings about it. Like, sometimes when The White Lotus... Sorry, we're not supposed to be talking about this. Like, I don't know. But I was just going to say, like, when The White Lotus comes out, I'm always like, damn, this really is not meant to be a show that's watched weekly just because it is such slow pacing and you're kind of pissed off when it ends and you're like, great, now I have to wait a whole other week for nothing to happen. But at the same time, it is one of those shows where you, like, it's, like, definitely, like, a water cooler show where you, like, come to work the next day, Monday morning, and it, like, makes your Monday mornings better. Yeah. And, like, you're talking about it with your coworkers and your friends. And then it's, like, then I'm like, okay, actually it is a good weekly show.
But maybe it's different, like...
The Gilded Age, I don't know. Maybe that's not a good one, but...
I feel like anything that's present day, I can accept more, like, weekly. But anything where it's, like, a fantasy show or, like, you're in, like, a different time or whatever.
Game of Thrones, though.
Yeah. Where
I can't imagine that having, like, not been a weekly show.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I just feel like I'm like in that world and then suddenly I'm like, and here's my microwave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it just really takes me out of it. But anyways, that's what I've like been viewing lately. Those are my thoughts. I'm waiting to talk to you about that like strongly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But back to Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, sorry.
So I was saying that it's definitely like, I mean, it's really just its era. We already know this. This is just like an exhausted conversation at this point. But tomorrow we are seeing, well, by the time this episode comes out, we'll have already seen it, but we're seeing Fantastic Four. Unfortunately, you won't hear our... Pew, pew, pew. I've been waiting for this, by the way, since, like...
No, I know you have.
The end of time, or the beginning of time. Which doesn't even make sense, but I have. Just know that I have.
Like, we saw, like, a picture from it or whatever, and it was the Rock, the Boulder guy, and I was like, oh, is that... I thought it was the Rock in the movie The Smashing thing.
Oh, my God.
And you were like,
it's
no.
Eben Moss...
Oh, really?
It is Backrack. I heard him say it in an interview the other day, and I was like, it's funny how similar his name is to, like... Backrack, yeah.
He probably knows. But yeah, we had a night on Friday. I think that's why I said it. I was like, is that The Rock? And you were like, no, that's a Fantastic Four.
In the car.
1/4 of a Fantastic.
Not only did that, I don't remember that, but I remember you talking for a long time about how... like that movie with The Rock that's coming out.
Yeah, the
Smashing. No, but you got it wrong.
The Smashing Machine.
The Smashing Machine, but you are calling it The Smashing, and we're like, that's not the name of it, which is so British.
Not far off.
The Smashing.
The Smashing.
But anyway, that movie.
Sorry.
But we're seeing Fantastic Four. By the time this episode comes out, we'll have already seen it. However, you won't hear our opinions on it for like another couple weeks. But we're saying it's a Pedro Pascal era because we're here today to talk about Eddington, which we saw last week.
Which has gotten interesting reviews.
It's gotten mixed reviews, which is exactly what in my head I would give it.
Yes.
You know?
So we should say at the top that if you don't want any spoilers, we put the timestamps in our episode description as well as on our Instagram. Follow us at Poppin' In Podcast. And you can skip through if you don't want like the spoilers or anything, but we're going to get into it.
Yes. So
you've been warned.
You have been warned.
Yeah.
So Eddington is I would give it a couple genres. I would say it's a satirical, black comedy, Western, political satire film.
Hyper realistic.
Yes. And it was directed and written and directed by Ari Aster, who did Midsommar, Hereditary, Beau is Afraid.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. He actually apparently has been working on this movie for like a long time. Like he apparently wrote a version of it like maybe like 10 years ago or something.
Yeah.
Like a long time ago. But
wait, 10 years?
Yeah, some time
How is that possible? It's like very COVID era.
I'm getting to that.
Okay,
so he wrote a Western movie. He wanted to do a Western. And I think he did call it Eddington. I don't know. But he wanted to make a Western, and he had written, like, the concept, like, a while ago, but he felt like there was, like, something missing from it. And then once COVID happened and once 2020 happened.
I know what this needs. A global pandemic.
But not only the global pandemic, but just, like, everything that happened in 2020. Respiratory illness.
My movie will shine.
But not just that, but, like, everything that happened in 2020.
Sorry, Molly.
See y'all in 2 weeks.
Molly's like, actually, you were right. I am tired of you.
So that's when he wrote Eddington. And so that's why it has like a lot to it. This movie is a very like loaded movie.
Yeah, it's hard to like even give a synopsis of it because I just like, I just don't.
So it's interesting though. It is a little different from his other movies. Like, so I don't think you ended up seeing. Have you ever seen Beau is Afraid?
No, I almost watched it last night though.
I think you should watch it. I really want to hear y'all's reaction to it, but it's definitely.
Guess what I watched instead?
What?
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Hell
The Curse of the Black Pearl.
Hell yeah. First one?
Yes, I think Keira Knightley may be like the most beautiful person to ever grace the screen. But anyways, Beau is Afraid.
And especially in that movie.
Just a pivot.
So, well, that's Matthew and I try to watch, like, we've been watching, okay, update for our listeners. I don't know if I've said this, but, like, we've been watching Reno 911. Like, there is no tomorrow. Like, I am obsessed with the show. No one told me about Reno 911 before.
That's crazy.
I know. Like, I've always heard of it, but, like, I never watched it. I'm obsessed with it. Anyway, we watch it, like, we always watch it during dinner, like, whatever. Like, if we're home, we're watching it. But last night, Matthew's like, we should watch a movie. And he wanted to watch Dune 2. Now, keep in mind, Dune 2 is like a 2.5 hour long movie. We got about 20 minutes in and we were just like, we want to watch Reno 911. We turned it. So anyway, I feel you. We also did not watch our movie that we were going to watch. Anyway, that was the story there.
Yeah, but that's like what you're saying. So all of his stuff is like horror films.
But I was going to say too about Beau is Afraid is like so that was his most recent movie. That one was very like, it felt, okay, the thing about Beau is Afraid is it felt like you're watching a nightmare. Like, it's a really crazy movie. Like, it feels like he really writes things almost like he's inside my head sometimes because I'm like, the way that you write horror is, like, what I'm afraid of, you know? Yeah. Like, I can't explain it. But Beau is Afraid, this movie was a little bit more straightforward than, like, the dreamlike sequenceness of Beau is Afraid or, you know, and it's not, like, necessarily a horror movie, but, basically, it's about Joaquin Phoenix plays the sheriff, and it's in a small town called Eddington. I think it's in New Mexico.
Yeah.
And basically, this is during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, and Joaquin Phoenix decides he's going to run for mayor against Pedro Pascal's character, who is like re-electing. He's up for re-election. And Pedro Pascal's character is like, he's a very liberal mayor, and you know, he's all about like, you know, wearing your mask and you know, just everything like that. And Joaquin Phoenix is all about like freedom, like we shouldn't have to wear our mask. We can't breathe in the mask.
I have asthma.
There was so much of the like, we can't breathe in these masks. And
Actually, I didn't catch this when I was reading a review, and they were like, it felt very... So Ari Aster, I think, said it wanted to make you feel like you were online, which it did during that time. And it made me laugh because it's like you see these like posts from people who are like very on the right where they're like spelling the word "your" wrong.
I was trying to point that out to you guys, but it was like during quiet scenes, so I didn't like they're saying "your." But like on his car, I noticed it was like he spelled "your" wrong, and I was like,
he had so like funny. Some insane like so he decorates he, as in Joaquin Phoenix's character, decorates his whole car with like these insane political like signs and stuff, and they're all just like very, and even when they're trying to come up with like slogans for his political campaign, it's kind of wild. And what's interesting, so that's kind of like the basis, and then there's all the, of course, as we all lived it, like the 2020 like Black Lives Matter stuff is happening, also like Antifa, and it's just like it's movement. Interesting because I feel like not a lot of people have, like, it feels like it's both too close and too far away from COVID. Like, it's, the thing is, I think maybe we're also traumatized by COVID, that, like, seeing, it was, like, very realistic. It's almost comical to see, like, how we were all acting. Like, when he has to, like, stand 6 feet away from the people in the grocery store line. Like, that's not funny, but it's, like, so weird to see it play out in a movie.
Well, oh, yeah, go ahead.
And I'm, like, I almost would want to see this, like, 20 years from now.
It did feel weirdly, so I don't normally like when movies or shows cover COVID, especially like, again, there were some that covered it like a year after, and it almost felt dated at that time, because it was like, okay, well, this just feels like weird or whatever. But this, what I felt like was, if you're going to cover all of these topics, I felt like it covered it kind of perfectly.
Yeah.
And also, it was funny because there were certain things, like you were just saying, like I'd forgotten about, and they did a good job of like really putting you back in that era, because it was just even like things like they were in the grocery store, and remember how they had the arrows to the lines?
Yeah.
Or around the store, like you were supposed to follow the arrows. Yes. Like I'd forgotten about that.
I forgot about that too. It was just such a weird feeling, because it's like, it feels very close to home, but it also, like, so I was going to say the difference between, like, Ari Aster, so he does horror typically, and I think there was this NPR review that was saying, the thing about Ari Aster is it's horror on first watch, and then it's almost comedic on second watch.
Yeah, he's actually a really comedic writer. Like, he's actually very funny.
Yeah.
Even, like, there's just certain things, like, even in, like, and I don't think Hereditary overall is a very funny movie. Like, Midsommar has a lot of humor in it, but there's little things in Hereditary that are just, like you kind of laugh.
Even, like, the big, like, plot twist, which I won't give it away, but, like, the big car scene, like, kind of on second watch, like, because you know it's coming, is funny.
So, and I heard so he did an interview with Bill Hader, which this was just like I've never clicked on a video faster. It was A24 does like a podcast series where they'll have actors interviewing each other or whatever. And they had Ari Aster and Bill Hader interviewing each other, and they're friends in real life, I think. And, Bill Hader was talking about Hereditary, and he said that, like, the scene where, like, Toni Collette's head falls off her body and, like, hits the floor, and it, like, just makes, like, a thump when it hits the floor. It's, like, so unnecessary, but it's like hilarious. That, like that noise is so unnecessary.
Comedy and horror are very
very similar.
Yeah.
And so this movie, I felt like definitely had a lot of humor. I was laughing at a lot of it.
I was laughing at a lot of it, but some of it felt like way too on the nose, where it's like, I understand the point that you're trying to make, but I think the difference is, I think it didn't make me like any of the characters, or like have any, like, or not,
I don't think you were supposed to.
I don't think you're supposed to, but like, they all felt like way too like caricatures of each other, or like it didn't make me feel like they just felt like caricatures of like what they were supposed to represent. So like Joaquin Phoenix is like a far right like conspiracy theorist, and then like it's not even just Pedro Pascal's character, but other people in the movie are very like left-leaning, like intense, like overly woke type of people, and some of that is, I think, accurate to the time. Like, again, I forgot like what a literal dumpster fire that time was of just like everything that was happening. There's a dumpster fire in the movie, and I think like it's interesting to try and like tackle all of those things, because I think what he was trying to do, I commend, but I don't know if it was maybe, because there's the whole thing, like, and again, this is a spoiler, but like, you find out that like Antifa is coming in on like planes, and they're like blowing up parts of it, and I was just like, wait, what?
So that's when the movie lost me. Okay, so the other thing about this movie is, It was maybe like 30 minutes too long. Maybe even like 45 minutes too long.
Oh, way too long.
I actually I did like the movie, but I will say, like, so we saw it kind of, it wasn't even late, but we saw like a later showing of it. Yeah. I got to the point where I literally almost started crying because I wanted the movie to end so badly. Yeah. And I was like cold and I was just like, I just want to go home. Like, I'm tired. And the movie just kept, you know, when you're seeing a movie for the first time and you don't know when it's going to end, and it just kept going. And I was like, please let this movie end. Like, and I think that's around that time was when I kind of saw, there's like a whole, I'm not kidding, there's like a 40-minute chase scene.
Yeah.
With Joaquin Phoenix, and I guess we can get into like spoilers, but it just like went on for so long. However, I did think Joaquin Phoenix's acting was, as always, great. Phenomenal. In this movie. He did a good, so he ends up, again, we're getting into spoilers, so please skip ahead if you plan on seeing this movie and don't want spoilers, but Joaquin Phoenix ends up getting COVID, or his character gets COVID during the movie, and he has asthma, so he's like, he does such a good sick. Like, I've never seen someone do coughing so well.
I was like, I want to Google, like, how do actors play phlegm? Because I was like, oh, he's got some gunk back there. Because it was, like,
a specific COVID cough. Like, and he was, like, and he, at some point, he starts, like, running. Again, it's this really long chase scene where he's running from these shooters, and there's, like, a shoot-off, basically. And he's, like, breathing heavily. He's, like, and, like, it's just, like, this really crazy...
And one thing
sequence.
So speaking of the shoot-off scene, so one thing I've noticed about Ari Aster is I feel like a lot of his movies, it's like, okay, it's going, whatever, and then it takes a hard pivot. Yes. Every single movie, like Hereditary, it's the car scene. Midsummer, it's the old people. And I haven't seen Beau is Afraid, but I don't know if you would say that about that one.
I mean, almost the whole movie is like that,
But it's interesting because, and like in this one, there's a person who gets shot, and that is like, it's so... like
jarring.
It feels so out of the world of what you're watching that you're like, oh shit, like it's almost like you're watching a different movie.
Yeah.
And it happens in every movie I've seen of his, and I think he usually does that pretty well, and I think he does this very well, where it also is like these kind of like weird like microaggressions that are leading up to like the characters like a boiling point. And I saw this comparison of, it reminded this was I think an NPR review where she was like, it reminds them of Spike Lee Do the Right Thing, where it's just like all these characters where it's like these things are happening, and suddenly it's just like all these little things that build up to like people like exploding.
Yeah.
And I think like that is very similar to what's going on here. But then it kind of just took like, it is definitely, I wouldn't say horror in any way. It is definitely like funny.
Yeah.
I got no horror concepts. I also, like, it's interesting because I think, like, Joaquin Phoenix is almost portrayed, like, his character is almost portrayed as a good guy when you see him, like, be like, oh, we have to, like, take care of this man. I'm going to buy him. Like, there's an old man who gets turned away from the grocery store because he can't wear a mask.
He's, like, sort of likable at first.
And then you find out, like, I thought this was actually very good, the way they did this. So his wife makes these weird dolls. His wife's played by Emma Stone, and she sells them online. And, like, you hear him talking about, he's like, oh, like, did you sell any today? And she's like, yeah, I sold this one. And then you see him go into work and you find out that he's having his deputy buy them, and he reimburses him, which almost sounds very sweet at first, but then you realize, like, it's actually just blatantly lying. You know what I mean? Like, where it's just like, okay, it sounds sweet because he wants her to feel like she's selling her dolls, but she's not. And if she ever found out that it was him buying them, imagine how devastated she would feel, you know? But he's not really, like, thinking about that. And the whole time, like, he's acting like he cares so much about his wife and her stuff. But, like, he announces...
Well, then he announced... Yeah, the announcement was like, oh, my God.
Yes, he announces that she's good, that he's running for sheriff before he even talks to her. And then he gets home and she's reasonably upset. And then also he has, like, this whole feud with the current mayor... Or, sorry, he's running for mayor. Sorry. Yeah. Mayor? You said that. Yeah, mayor. With the current mayor, because I guess, like, there's this whole thing where he... like went on a date with his wife like 20 years ago.
Yeah, Pedro Pascal's character.
Yeah, Pedro Pascal's character. And he just goes on like a Instagram live or whatever and basically talks about like her sexual assault, again, with none of her approval, none of her consent or anything.
Yeah, that was when I was like, oh my God, he does not care about her at all.
Yeah. And so I just think it's interesting how they like wrote this character. I think they actually wrote his character very well, where it's like, oh, well-meaning. This is a good guy who's like, quote unquote, for the people, but he's actually not. And you can see it with like the whole thing where it's like, there is one cop in town who is black, and he basically, like, keeps being like, wait, what's this George Floyd thing? Like, why didn't you tell me about it? And the guy's like, well, it just happened. It's everywhere. Yeah. What do you mean? Like, why do I have to tell you about it? And, like, you kind of see him treat him like that the whole time, where it's like, you're the authority on black people in this town, apparently. And it's just interesting where it's like, you can see those, again, those, like, microaggressions that are building in all of these characters that I think is done in a really interesting way.
Yeah, definitely. And so, again, like, with the BLM movement, there's a whole storyline where there's these, like, youths, like, these teen characters. And God, what was it we were laughing at? There was, like, one scene where the kid is talking at a funeral, and at the memorial.
He's like giving this speech about how, like, we're standing on stolen ground, and, like, I shouldn't even be giving this speech because I'm white.
Yeah, and he, like, it was just, like, so, it kind of perfectly captured, like, the white liberal movement, like, of, like, where it's like
everything in this movie is overdone. Like, there's this one girl who's, like, very much like, I'm reading Toni Morrison, and she's, like, just, like, a basic white girl. She's like, I'm reading Toni Morrison, and I understand that, like, my white activism shouldn't be, like, the only thing that, like, she's, like, going on, but she still isn't, like, getting it, and she's, like, yelling at the cop, like, the black cop, about how bad cops are.
Yeah.
And he's just like, okay.
Yeah.
And it's, like, apparently his girlfriend or something. That was confusing to me.
Yeah, there was a past... They had a relationship at one point.
Yeah, which was weird to me because I was like, okay.
Then she was with Pedro Pascal's son.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it was weird to me because I was like, okay, they seem like they're in high school and this cop seems older.
Way older. Yeah, the thing is, at that point, I was like, okay, there's too many character storylines now. Like, I'm not really sure where we're, like, following.
Yeah.
I don't know. So
like,
it was interesting.
Because there was and I think it goes into, so it touches on, like, the Antifa movement. It touches on, like, the internet grifter conspiracy theory movement, which is where Austin Butler weirdly comes into play.
I know, my mom was saying, she was like, I wish Austin Butler was in it more. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
He, like, comes into play, leaves, and then comes back, sort of, but, like, not really. It was just kind of like a random touch point. I just, like you said, I think it could have been shorter, and it's interesting because it's like, what point do you think it's trying to make? I'm curious.
Well, I'm not sure about, like, a specific point, but again, like, I do just think it captured that era well, where I don't, like, you keep saying, like, caricatures, but I think it's more about the world rather than, like, we're looking at these specific characters. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it, like, is meant to be realistic as far as, like, these are real people. I think it's meant to capture each part of that time.
Yeah.
Of that time. And so that's why, like, yes, they were caricatures, but I think it did just kind of, these characters would, like, perfectly capture each of those things where it was, like, I think we could criticize kind of, like, all of those parts. You know what I mean?
And you know what's interesting is...
Not obviously criticize one more than the other, but you know what I mean, where it was just like all of it. I feel like it got the ridiculous. Analyze. I feel like it got the ridiculousness of, like, like a lot of the parts.
What's interesting, I was thinking about earlier about, like, the statement I said where I'm like, it felt like too soon, but also too far away, is like, living through COVID feels like such a blur, where it's like, if you waited too long, I feel like aspects of, like, the COVID era, like, wouldn't be able to be captured in a film, you know, because it's like, oh yeah, I forgot about, like, the arrows down the aisles, or, like, just, like, what it felt like. But also, if it's too soon, then you're just like, okay, this is too soon, you know, like, I still have masks, like, hanging on my door.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you want to be able to capture that feeling and accurately capture that time period, but it's like, you don't want to wait too long, but you don't want to do it too soon. So it's interesting, I don't see any other filmmaker trying to really capture the chaos that was that time.
Of that, because it's the chaos of the, like, because it's the political movement of that time. Like, I've seen movies capture COVID, but I've never seen, like, necessarily the political landscape of that time. And I thought, again, like, I thought this movie, however you feel about it, mixed reviews make sense to me, but I do think, like, it did, if you're gonna make a movie on those topics, I do think this was maybe the way to do it.
And it's interesting, like, the time that it's come out. Like, I know Ari Aster didn't plan this necessarily, but it feels like COVID was very much like every day you wake up and it's like a new horror, and that's kind of like what it feels like in the time we're living in now. So it's just interesting to, like, think about just like the way time passes too, and like how every day you're just kind of like, oh, this is awful, and then it's just like 5 years from now maybe someone will make a movie about like this time period, you know?
Yeah. So what did you think was the point of it?
I think the point was maybe to see like how we've sown division in American society. What?
Well, did you prepare that?
No, actually I didn't. Like, I think it just really shows like how those like divisions were sown. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like how it came about, because I feel like before that those things were all like bubbling and it's like whatever, and then it really, like, I think COVID, like in the, like, yes, the actual COVID of it, but also like the political aspects are really like a a point in time that you can track where you're like, this is where we went in two ways, you know, as like an American society. And I think that's where it became like just like super clear. And I think that's why all the characters and all the like political movements and stuff feel very like black and white, like literally and figuratively. But like, I think it's, I don't know. That's what I would say.
Yeah. Like how it can show how it, or it was showing how it kind of started and how, but through, I thought it was interesting to do it through a Western. Like, I thought that was interesting because he, like I said, he like, this all kind of started from a Western movie he had written that he revisited, and that was how he decided to tell this story.
I'm curious what the plot of the original Western
I know. Well, he didn't have, so he felt like,
oh, he just wanted to be
West. He wrote it, so I don't know what the original plot was, but he wrote it and was kind of like, there's something missing from this. So yeah, I don't know what the actual, I just know it was like a Western. I wanted to do a movie when I had first heard that he was doing a Western movie, I kind of, before it was like, we knew what this was like about, I kind of was like, oh, it'd be cool for him to do a different time period.
I would love to see a Civil War horror from him. Or anyone. Why don't we have, I feel like there's not enough Civil War.
Maybe Robert Eggers should do that.
Yeah, Civil War horror.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. There's always, it's like always just like, this is a historical film about the Civil War, and I'm like, well, give me some ghosts.
Yeah.
Give me some...
There's a lot of routes you could go with that, so I don't know. But I think I would love to see him do a different time period, though. He does tend to only do modern.
Or like a caveman horror. Oh, I guess it'd be kind of like Out of Darkness, which I think about regularly.
I'm glad
that was a good movie.
Liked that movie.
It
was funny because Matthew was like, that's what happens when you let me pick them. He like picked it. I was like,
I actually did not hate that movie. I think it was an interesting...
I just probably would never watch it again.
Yeah, I think it's crazy that they made up a language for the movie and they all spoke in it like the whole time.
It was some dedication to that movie, and I do appreciate that.
Yeah. I think this one, if you are inclined to like political satire movies, I think you should watch it. I really think like the whole like gun chase thing is where it got interesting, but also kind of lost my attention. I think that could have been shorter.
Way too long. Oh, but not only that, but then so this is when I started to get like almost like where I was like, I gotta leave this theater. It was like after that they go into kind of like, they fast forward into the future where everybody is now, and like that scene took a long time. It felt like I was just like, please end this movie.
Yeah.
So Ari Aster, if you're listening, maybe when you're writing your next script, just ask yourself, is this scene really necessary to be this long?
I think we should say that to all directors.
Not all. Some, we're going to see Fantastic Four tomorrow, and I looked at the runtime of that. It's, if it's even 2 hours, it's like maybe a little over 2 hours. And I was like, you know what? Perfect.
That's fine.
Because
I think
especially
an hour
for a Marvel
30
movie,
to 2 hours is fine. Anything around 3 hours is probably like, that's...
Listen, if a Marvel movie, which are notoriously long, like those are typically like at least 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
If a Marvel movie can be 2 hours or less, then we can do it.
And that's why I think some of these like auteur directors, I said the same thing about like, what was it? Was it like, I think maybe it was Stephanie Meyer's Twilight, where it's just like it kept, or like the Game of Thrones, not Game of Thrones,
I don't know.
ACOTAR series type things, where I'm like, this is where it's like these people have made a big name for themselves, or even like David Lynch, where they've made a big name for themselves. Now people are too afraid to edit their shit down. And it's like, sometimes you need that. You need those constraints because it makes the art better.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid, Ari
to speak
Aster,
up, yeah.
To cut your movie down just a little bit. But
yeah.
Other than that, I would say, it was definitely, the mixed reviews make sense to me. I figured it would get, I think... But that's when you know you've made an interesting movie, when people are talking about it and have mixed feelings on it.
Well, speaking of something people are talking about with mixed feelings.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy that you put this on the list, because I was looking it up last night and I was about to put it on there and I was like, we're on it. We are on the same track, but
I don't know if people have mixed feelings on it or if they kind of just all feel the same.
I've read some mixed things about it.
Okay.
So we should probably say what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You guys are probably like, what? So if you haven't heard, Sydney Sweeney has done a jeans ad for American Eagle, and the whole tagline is like, Sydney Sweeney's got good jeans, and it's like Jeans.
Right.
But like the whole thing is like
Jeans.
Genes.
Which for a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman is maybe not the best campaign idea.
Have you seen the videos?
Yes.
So it's interesting because it's like, it actually reminded me a lot of the oh my god, what is her name?
Brooke Shields.
Yes.
Yeah.
It reminds me of
it's reminded a lot of people of that.
Brooke Shields, like Levi's campaign from when she was like a teenager, where it's like she's in the jeans and her like leg is up, she's like stretching.
Which, by the way, she was a teenager. I really I know this is already a conversation, but I really questioned her mother, everybody in her life at the time. So concerning.
There's so many things. She has that, I think it's called Pretty Baby, that documentary. It's really good and it's interesting, but she talks about that. But people are like, okay, so people are up in arms because it's just very blatantly like promoting also this idea of like one standard of beauty. Again, blonde haired, blue eyed. And then also like people are commenting because it's also promoting what American Eagle's Sydney jean, and benefits from the purchases of those jeans go to the crisis text line, which is for victims of domestic violence. However, the ads are like hypersexual with like a focus on her boobs, and like it just feels very like tone deaf to a lot of people. But some people have said like that they appreciate her like anti-wokeness in it, which is like, I don't agree with. I don't appreciate that. But so that's why I'm saying like there's mixed, like, again, the internet is a wild place, but it's like when I was reading about it, some fans have said, you know what, like I am glad she came out and did this, because like whatever, like yeah, she's hot and like she should say that she's hot. And I think other people are like, okay, well, it's just the way it's being phrased and promoted, where even there's like a billboard where it says Sydney Sweeney has good jeans, Genes, it's crossed out, and then the word is jeans. Yeah, it's like, I think it's in LA or something like that. But here's the thing, someone also brought out like, so American Eagle hasn't really addressed this backlash against the ads, but it's caused a spike in stock as much as 16%. So like the thing is, it's what they would say, all press is good press.
Yeah. The thing is, I mean, it's interesting because Sydney Sweeney, I feel like she has faced a lot of backlash. Like, just almost like everything she does faces backlash. And I do think, like, what people are saying of, like, I appreciate her not trying to be woke and, like, you know, her embracing, she's not trying to do anything. I'm not calling her not smart, but I don't think she is putting thought into any of this.
See, I think the opposite.
I'm not saying she's not smart. I'm just saying that, like, I think she just takes, like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't necessarily know she has that much creative, like, as much of a creative whatever in it, you know, a creative hand in it.
I think so too. It kind of reminds me of the Kendall Jenner Pepsi ad,
right?
Where it's like, oh, Pepsi solved racism,
where it's
or whatever.
Like you can't, right? Where it's like, I mean, with all these things, it's like you can't necessarily, like, I don't think any of this is Sydney Sweeney's idea, yet you can still blame her because it's like, well, why did you do it? But at the same time, you're like, well, I don't think she's thinking that much into it.
See, and I think maybe she's not thinking that much into this. I think Sydney Sweeney is actually super smart, and like she knows that she is hot. She knows, like, she's coming out with a lingerie line. She is using her assets to her benefit while also being like, I'm going to use this then to go create like movies and art that I want to do. So like she's using her position as like a sex figure. However, in this case, I think just like the copywriting of it all makes it bad.
People say that every time with everything she does, and then she still gets criticized for it. So like the bathwater thing, like that got criticized. So I'm like, we've got to pick one or the other. Is she smart for using her hotness, or is she like, I don't know, but we've got to pick one, because it's like, I feel like she's getting, and that's why I say I don't really know what I'm trying to say, but I guess like it just seems like I don't know if she's putting that much thought into it. And sometimes I think like, I don't know, I think it's fine, embrace your hotness, but I also am like, do you want to be because I've heard her also, like, I think there's like an angle where it's like she wants to be taken seriously as an actor, but then she does like weird stuff like that, and so I don't know.
I think here's the thing for women, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
Think of like the Jeremy Allen White, like Calvin Klein thing, where he was hypersexualized and no one thought you can't be taken seriously as an actor.
But there wasn't anything like there wasn't like it wasn't going towards like victims of domestic violence. Like there wasn't anything to that. You know what I mean? So
I think what I'm saying I want to clarify is like outside the realm of this weird like
that's
eugenics type of ad.
Yeah.
But I think, like...
when I'm speaking right now, I'm not saying this from, like, my perspective. I'm saying it, like, these are everybody. Yeah. It seems like this is, like, the back and forth thing that seems to be going on.
And I like, think when we talked about the bathwater, I think, like, I've even been a, like... proponent of that, where it's like I think I criticized her for it, and then I thought about it and I was like, you know what, if she wants to sell her bathwater and make some bank and then also go make a serious movie, why can't she do that? Like, why can't she be sexy and sexual and also like a serious filmmaker? However, this ad I think is just completely tone deaf from start to finish. Yeah
It's interesting because it, again, like, but it feels like everything she does has, like, a ton of backlash. So I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know why. Yeah. I don't know.
And I also think this ad is a really interesting, like, kind of.
Like, I don't know why she I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, are we, like, if she was that smart, wouldn't she kind of look into that more? Do you know what I mean? Like, wouldn't she question this? And yes, like, it's making American Eagle stock go up. Like, that part, I guess, like, it's being talked about, but it's like, wouldn't you maybe look at, I don't know.
I think this ad is a really good sign of the times, where I think, like, you know, in the early 2000s, like, American Eagle Hollister was very, like, blonde hair, blue-eyed, skinny. We don't hire people of color. We don't hire people who are above a certain weight. And then they got a bunch of backlash for that. So then they started being, like, more inclusive. And they were like, oh, okay. And now I think, like, we've gotten into this weird, like, kind of Ozempic era of, like, society, where now we're back to, like, okay, one size fits all type of beauty. And we're trying to say, like, that's okay. You know what I mean? And I think, like, again, that's a lot to put into an ad, but I do think it, like, is a good
representation.
Yeah, representation of kind of where we're going with that, where it's like American Eagle adjusted to what they thought the public liked, and now they're adjusting again to what they think the public likes.
But I just remember, so another part to this is, like, the actual speech is so funny. So, like, people are kind of making fun of her because of how she reads the thing. It reads the ad, like, she's like, genes are passed down from, like, she's like, personality. And like, there's, like, one word
she's,
that
like,
she
sexily,
doesn't,
like, pulling on her, like, they're super oversized jeans.
Yeah, there's just, like, there's certain words where that, like, she doesn't, like, pronounce kind of correctly. It's just kind of funny. I don't know. I really do like, I like Sydney Sweeney as an actor, as a person, I think, but this
ad was strange.
Put in strange taste. She just, but not just that. I do feel like she's been making strange decisions lately.
Yeah, like, we didn't talk about this last week, but her lingerie line is being partially funded by Jeff Bezos, I guess. That's probably why she was at his wedding.
No, so I heard she was at his wedding because she's starring in an Amazon movie right now.
Oh, okay.
So, it could be. I mean, both are probably true.
I haven't fact checked that. That was just, like, what I read from a headline, just FYI. But
okay. That might I do know, like, I think she's, like, in an Amazon movie, something to do with Amazon right now. But
so I think, like, this, I think it's interesting, just, like, seeing this ad, seeing the way people are responding to it, and the fact that, like, as of what is today, Monday, July 28th, I haven't seen, like, American Eagle comment on the commentary. Because I think they don't have to. I think they can make sales, and they're not going to.
It's interesting because I feel like she's so in demand right now, but she makes a lot of business thing. Like, she seems to be doing a lot of, like,
business ventures. I was actually thinking,
ventures,
I haven't seen her on screen in a while.
I know. I guess not, but I do think she's, I think she's booked and busy. She seems to be a very booked and busy actress. I feel like she's very high in demand. And it's interesting because I go back to like what we've talked about this before on here, but I do think she is the one who said before, like, actors, like, I don't make a lot of money. Like, she was like, I have to really work. Like, if I want to make like money to stay in my place or whatever, like, I have to like basically work every day. Like, I have to work very, very hard. And so she's kind of one of the few people I've ever heard say that as an actor. And I'm just like, is that, I mean, she does seem to be doing a lot of like business ventures, but I feel like she's a very high, like, in demand actress. So I'm curious, like, why. I'm like, maybe you should just stay away from like the ads, stay away from like the business ventures. Like, maybe just do more movies. I don't know.
There was someone else I saw who came out recently basically saying like that they make, it was the guy, do you remember Bridesmaids, the Irish cop?
Yeah.
It was his wife came out and said that basically like they don't make like hardly any money from his work. And I find that interesting. I think part of it is probably true, but part of it, like, I think about Sydney Sweeney, I'm like, I think like just the cost of being an A-list celebrity in LA or wherever you are is probably expensive as well. So I'm curious, like, when they say I don't make any money, I'm like, do you mean just compared to other actors, or do you mean compared to like the average person?
Because I mean, and again, they're bringing back so they're coming back with Euphoria season 3, and I'm like, she's got to be in the probably top 3 of like the highest net worths of that cast. So I'm like, I would guess it's like Zendaya and then Sydney Sweeney, right?
Maybe Jacob Elordi.
Yeah, maybe Jacob Elordi, but whatever.
Well, because what I find interesting is like, it's not that I don't think Sydney Sweeney is capable of like a serious role, but I just haven't seen her, like, I would never see her in like a Dune. You know what I mean?
I couldn't see her in like, I couldn't see her in something that like intense. I couldn't see her in an intense role, but I feel like I see her in serious, like she was in The White Lotus and she was great in that. I thought she was actually very good in that.
Yeah. But is that serious? I always feel like it's more like satire.
It is, but I mean serious, like it's like a
real.
No, like I'm saying, like it's taken seriously, like it's a very acclaimed show.
Yes. Oh yes.
But I couldn't see her. No, I could not see her in necessarily like a period or like a fantasy type role.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't see her in something like that. But I mostly because of her voice.
Yeah.
I think she'd have to really work on her voice.
Yeah, I think so. She has, what is it? What do they call it?
Like a valley girl.
No, like what do they call it? Like an iPhone face?
She does have an iPhone face.
Like she's definitely seen an iPhone.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, again, like I said, I am a fan of her as an actor. I just think she does seem to just make some, everything she's done lately has had backlash. She seems to make some strange decisions. I just am like,
yeah.
Did you ever, I haven't shopped at American Eagle in a long time.
No, but I know like that and Abercrombie, like they've, like I was with my friends a few weeks ago and I kept asking, I was like, oh, what are you guys wearing? And everything they were wearing was Abercrombie.
Yeah. I have
like,
a couple tennis dresses from Abercrombie. They have cute like athletic
wear. I have a dress right there on that green dress is from Abercrombie on that chair.
I love that dress.
I do too. I think they make good stuff. It's just, it's hard because I think they probably would have still like committed to their like, we don't do sizes of this whatever unless people had said anything. So some of that feels like disingenuous, but
yeah.
But speaking of something that sparked a lot of controversy is the South Park episode featuring Donald Trump. It's called Sermon on the Mount. It's the first episode of their 27th season, and it has caused, I think, like a lot of conversation. Have you heard anything about this?
Yes. I never watched the episode. I haven't watched the episode.
I watched it like right before you came over. And the thing is, so I am new to South Park. Chris has been like selectively showing me South Park episodes, like the ones that he thinks that I would like, which I appreciate because one time he showed me one that I definitely did not like. It was like the Woodland Creatures one or whatever. And I was just like, I think I'm over the show. And then he showed me a few more and I was like, okay. There are some funny ones. I didn't think this was funny, but Chris said it was the first funny episode like that he saw in a while. I just thought it was incredibly like, it was very South Park. But so if you don't know, it's the first episode of their 27th season, and it basically is portraying Donald Trump as an incredibly insecure leader who literally gets into bed with Satan, who is supposed to be like his lover, and he also like has a small penis in like a lot of the shots, which I mean, is whatever. South Park is not like secretive about making like dick jokes. And then it's interesting because the actual focus of the episode is about like media cowardice, where like it starts out with Cartman being like, why has NPR been canceled? Why is it canceled? The government can't cancel a show. And then it goes on to like a fictionalized like 60 Minutes segment that shows the showdown between like Donald Trump and the town of South Park, because like the residents in South Park are upset because Jesus, like literally Jesus, is in their school. And it's interesting because, again, going back to like the thing, so South Park like is known for making these like outrageous, like both political and like timely episodes. And this like Satan getting into bed with Satan thing is not new. The last time it was used was 1999 with Saddam Hussein.
Yeah.
And so it's just very telling that like this new episode it went from Saddam Hussein to Donald Trump, so you know like what they're getting at and what they're thinking about. And per usual Donald Trump fashion, he did not appreciate the episode. And a statement from the White House said the left's hypocrisy truly has no end. For years they have come after South Park for what they labeled as offensive content, but suddenly they are praising the show, which I thought was an interesting statement, because I feel like it's not usually like liberals who are coming after South Park. Like South Park is very much, I think, like a liberal show making fun of like culture and society. It's one of the few
shows where it's like they can pretty much say anything and you're kind of like, that's fine, because you know that they make fun of everything too.
Right.
They like treat everything like, I don't want to say equally, but they go after everything.
Yeah, like there's nothing is safe. And it's also, I was reading like this article from the New Yorker. So if you don't know, like Donald Trump was suing CBS, and people were like, I wonder if they're going to like sue like the South Park creators over this. And the New Yorker episode was like, the thing is, I forget what it's called, but it's a term where it's basically like if you make a joke about someone having a small dick, then they're usually not going to sue you over it, because that is an embarrassing thing to go to court over. So granted, he would probably be suing them about other things, but then the fact of like him having a small dick in the show would just be like, like, can you imagine like just being in court and just being like, and sir, I mean, it was unbelievably small. But I think what's interesting, and we're going to get into this, we talked about it a little bit last week, but we're going to get into like an update. But as you all probably know, the Colbert Show was recently canceled from CBS, and part of that was due to this merger with Skydance Media. And so part of it, like CBS had come out and said like that they canceled the Colbert Show due to financial reasons, but like a lot of people believe it was like a really huge push from like Donald Trump, like to give the merger approval, because, you know, he's made fun of a lot on that show. So it's interesting. So recently Paramount has purchased the rights to South Park, like all the episodes, the streaming rights, for $1.5 billion. And then they came out with this episode, and it's like, okay, so you've canceled Colbert over, you know, similar things, even though they won't admit to that. But then what are they going to do about South Park that they've just purchased for $1.5 billion?
Interesting.
So I think it creates this interesting dilemma, and also a dilemma that they kind of talk about on this South Park episode of like, are we letting the government like influence whether shows are going to be canceled or not?
So timely.
As South Park always is.
Yeah.
Despite like and that's the thing. It's like, just like we were talking about with like Eddington or like whatever, where it's like these things are very timely, and I think the only way that people are able to like digest them in an entertainment way is to like make them kind of funny.
Right. Of course.
Yeah.
I do think this is our most political episode yet.
Yeah, well, because it's like,
it does seem like every topic we have.
I think like, well, we're in a society where like politics and entertainment are really intersecting.
That it is interesting. I do think so. I haven't watched the episode yet. How did you feel? Did you think it was funny?
I like there was a part where it was like literal Jesus standing in the school, like just smiling, like holding his hands out, and kids are walking past. That made me laugh. But the rest of it I didn't think was like as funny as like some of the episodes that Chris had shown me.
Sometimes it's less. I've found that like with big episodes like this, where it's like it's like on the news, like talked about, like here's the new South Park episode. I do think sometimes it's less funny, and you're kind of just watching it for like, oh, they're covering this, you know, like they're doing this like.
And
topic.
I actually think a lot of, like, from the episodes that Chris has shown me, like, the ones that are, like, less political and more just, like, situationally, like, written are funnier to me.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, the political ones are just, like, too, like, it's kind of the same thing when we were talking about Eddington, where it's, like, just too on the nose.
Right.
I also just don't think dick jokes are funny pretty much ever. Like, I don't care. But it is very, like, South Park humor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I thought, like, what they were saying, like, there's a whole thing where, like, again, Jesus is in the schools now, and the dad gets mad, and he's like, why is Jesus in the schools? And they're like, because the government said so.
Yeah.
And, like, that's just what it is. It also is kind of crazy because, you know, it's a cartoon, but and again, I'm not, like, a South Park connoisseur. I've only seen the select episodes that Chris has selected for me. Mm-hmm. But I've never seen them put, like, an actual face on someone. It's, like, Donald Trump's, like, actual face, like,
I know,
moving, like a magazine or something.
I know. I noticed that too in the, like, I didn't watch the episode yet, but I noticed in the preview that I was like, oh, it's, like, weird to see his face.
Yeah.
That is true.
So that just kind of, like, I don't know, was kind of weird.
I think they just went there. They were like, repeating his face.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting talking point. Yeah. And I think, again, like, this is, again, a quote from The New Yorker. It says, one of the most striking aspects of Colbert's firing is that his comedy, whether you like it or not, wasn't all that offensive. The Late Show is standard liberal fare, but by getting rid of that problem, Paramount has created a new one. They're paying Parker and Stone, who do South Park, more than $1 billion to put out the same message as Colbert, but a lot less politely. I think that is a really interesting point, because again, I just think, like, we are getting into, like, this crossroads of politics and entertainment and censorship and that sort of question.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to give, like, an update. I think when we covered Colbert last week, that some of, like, I don't think we had written, like, at least for me, like, I hadn't written down, like, what I wanted to say or, like, the facts of the case. But since, like, the announcement has come out of, like, Colbert's show ending, it happened when the FCC finally approved the merger with Sky Media. So Colbert, like, came on CBS in a segment called A Big Fat Bride. And he said that, like, his show was canceled for financial reasons. And then recently, like, other comedians have been coming out, like, either satirically or just straight up, like, making comments on it. So, like, Jon Stewart, last Monday, as in, like, the Monday before July 28th, on The Daily Show, he questioned CBS's statement asserting Colbert's cancellation, that it was purely a financial decision, and he basically was joining in on the group saying, like, go fuck yourself to media companies that might censor themselves to avoid angering the government. And then Colbert has also said for the next 10 months the gloves are off, which is exciting. And Letterman has said that CBS's cancellation of Colbert was pure cowardice, and also expressed skepticism that it was for purely financial reasons. So I think it'll be interesting to see the kind of, like, creativity, like, again, entertainment side that comes out of this, like the artist, comedian, not just comedian, but, like, whatever people think about this, I think will be interesting as things happen. Yeah. But speaking of another thing that's been canceled, sad.
It actually, so when this was announced, I was just kind of like, oh. And then I thought about it more, and I was like, this is actually a travesty.
So if you don't know, we should explain. E! News has been canceled after more than
a long sentence before we ever even.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm joking. Yes, E! News has been E! News is canceled, which.
Actually, news.
Which actually has been, like, a long time coming. Like, I'm not surprised. People just don't have cable anymore.
Yeah. So for me personally, like, E! News has been a staple in my household, which, I mean, maybe members of my family wouldn't agree because it was mostly me watching it, but I feel like every night when my dad would make dinner, I just would always just have, like, E! News on, or, like, what was the Entertainment Week? No.
Entertainment Tonight.
Entertainment Tonight. Like, I can literally picture the camera zoom of the, like, two hosts standing on that little platform stage as they go to it. And I feel like E! News and, like, all of those shows, like, they just are not, like, big anymore. And so it's understandable that it was canceled, but it does feel like the end of an era. And as you said, it's our favorite red carpet commentary show. And so I think Juliana Rancic, if you remember her, I don't know why I said that she's alive. Well, she's she's around, she's still doing things. But I remember like she had like a TV show, her own show, based off of being like a very famous, like her and Ryan Seacrest like were in my home every night giving me updates. And granted, like the stories were not that juicy, they weren't that deep, but I just like, it's sad. Like I can't remember the last time I watched E-News outside of like the red carpet, but I just am like, wow, I can't believe after more than 3 decades, they're calling it curtains.
Yeah, I think, again, it's not totally surprising, but it is very sad.
It is sad, and it'll be interesting because I think, like, people have made this comment. I am not, like, the first person to make this, where they've said, like, you know, we're all going to streaming. But then there were so many streaming services, it's now basically like we have cable.
It's literally becoming cable.
Yeah, and I think like we're getting rid of E-News and stuff, but then we're going to like, something else is going to replace it, whether it's just like a TikTok show or something like that. And so E-News online will still be like a thing, but like E-News, the nightly show, I mean, I haven't heard anything about it in a long time until this.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's going to be one of those nostalgia things. Like, I thought about, like, how What Not to Wear came back as Wear Whatever the F You Want, which is a stupid name for the show.
I actually hate that.
But I used to watch What Not to Wear all the time. I loved seeing, like, the makeovers, like, the haircuts, whatever
you want.
Yeah. And I think maybe, like, it's interesting because I feel like we're getting into this nostalgia era of, like, TV shows, like, the reboots, whatever. And I wonder if E-News will, like, maybe ever be a part of that.
Maybe.
You know what I miss? True Hollywood Story.
Oh my gosh, I used to eat those up. I watched, like, I still remember the Kate Hudson. There was like one about like Kate Hudson.
There was one about Melissa Joan Hart.
The Melissa Joan Hart one I specifically remember, like I distinctly remember it because I remember like a part where they talked about how her and her mom were like really close, and they had like she did like parties when she was like a teenager. She was like always partying.
Yeah, she was really good friends with Britney Spears. I remember watching that and being like, what?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
There was one on the Kardashians. I would watch them like getting ready for school in the morning.
Yeah. Which also to say, so I follow Melissa Joan Hart on Instagram, and I just have to say I am a Sabrina the Teenage Witch stan. Like I rewatched it during the pandemic, but I watched her when she was in high school. She went to college for journalism, then I watched her become a music journalist, then I watched her, like, the final episode is her wedding, and I think about it all the time. But anyway, so I follow Melissa Joan Hart on Instagram, and it brings me joy because she posts so much like a mom. Like she posts like clearly like a picture she saved from Pinterest with like an inspirational quote, or she's just like posting like, oh, me and my hubby like going on the boat today, or whatever it is.
Does she act anymore, or she just kind of do like TV movies or something?
I think she does mostly like TV movies. Because to be fair, I love her, but I don't know if she was like the best actress.
No,
she's very much like a teen actor.
Yeah.
So sad to E-News. We'll see you next time, I guess.
We won't see them next time.
We'll see you if you come back. Actually, I probably still won't watch it because I haven't in a while, but I just have like such a distinct, like, I can picture myself in the kitchen on our green chair watching TV as my dad's like making dinner, and it's E-News every night for like 15 years. Yeah. Wow. Sad.
So speaking of Euphoria, kind of going back to Sydney Sweeney.
let's backtrack.
We do have to talk about this.
Let's do a nostalgia topic of this episode.
We're nostalgic for our Sydney Sweeney topic that we talked about.
Our own conversations. Yeah.
We have to talk about this because just to me it's like kind of wild.
It is. So okay. So here, I'm going to phrase it to you guys how Chris phrased it to me. He came into the kitchen, he was laughing, and he said, you know how I always say that Euphoria is just one long music video? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, well, guess who they're bringing on as the new artist? I was like, I don't know, The Weeknd. I was like, Drake. Like, I don't know.
That would make sense.
That would make sense.
The Weeknd would actually make a lot of sense.
And then he laughed. He said, ha! And no. He said, it's Hans Zimmer.
So here's the thing. I've seen I've seen a theory with this. This theory is what I choose to believe.
Okay.
So, you know how Christopher Nolan used to use Hans Zimmer for his movies, but now he uses Ludwig.
Yeah.
I can't think of his last name, but that amazing composer, I just can't think of his last name. Because he's great.
Von Beethoven.
What is his name? It's Ludwig something. So I saw a thing that was like Hans Zimmer is just on Euphoria. So he can like put like something in Zendaya's ear, like to go back to Christopher Nolan while she's filming Doom and being like, please bring me back to your movies. But Hans Zimmer, okay, this is so like, what? Like, why? Like, Why?
It's so the thing is, okay,
it's not
if you
just-
don't
so
know who
it's-
Hans Zimmer
it's
is,
Hans- well,
what are you doing?
Okay.
Sorry.
I was just gonna quickly say Hans Zimmer and Labyrinth are both doing the music
Yes.
for Euphoria.
And if you don't know Hans Zimmer, he did Pirates of the Caribbean, he did Sherlock Holmes, he did a billion other things.
Yeah.
And those are my two favorites. That's why I listed this.
Well, I mean, he's like
he's
like
a big
the biggest
movie,
composer.
soundtrack.
So it's just like
it's like him and Howard Shore, I would say.
I can't picture. Well, and John Williams. I would say John Williams is probably the big. But like, I think I can't picture what he could possibly do with Euphoria.
Here's the thing. It makes me so much more curious, like, what the fuck is this plot going to be if you've brought Hans Zimmer in to write a score?
I'll tell you what, because I think a lot of people have kind of been like, I'm not watching the third season. Like, I'm kind of out. And I sort of feel that way, too. I'm like, whatever. We don't really... I thought season 2 sucked. Yeah. But I do think...
Is this play about us?
I do... Like, it had a lot of... Like, that was definitely, like, again, like, where it was, like, everybody Sunday night was, like, on Twitter, like, talking about the episode. That's, like, fun. I do think Euphoria is great for that. I do kind of miss Euphoria Sundays, but I think like we don't need a season 3. It's clearly we've talked about this before. There's so much drama behind the scenes. Like I don't need like we're good.
It's been too long.
Now I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I will say Hans Zimmer will bring my ass back.
And I think it's going to take place in the future, so maybe it's just going to be a real epic story. I mean, he does epic music. What are you going to do for Euphoria?
I just think of, like, when they were originally floating around plot lines for season 3 where it was, like, Rue, Zendaya's character was going to be, like, a private investigator. And I was just like, no.
Maybe now.
Maybe, now I'd be like, okay, if Hans Zimmer's scoring it, but then I'm curious.
In my head, I still want to make this a meme. I hope no one else has taken this. But, like, you know when Sydney Sweeney, like, sticks her head out the window in season 2 and she's, like, in the car? That does happen, right? There's, like, a song.
Remember when she's Hereditary?
Remember when she's riding with Jacob Elordi and doesn't she stick her head out the window?
Maybe. I don't remember. It's been, like, 3+ years since I've seen
I'm not even going to look it up. I'm just going to assume that, and if I'm wrong, then, oh, well. But I was like, is it going to be, like, the Joker when he sticks his head out the window in The Dark Knight?
Yeah.
And, like, it's just Hans Zimmer, like... playing, like, it's just funny.
Because again, the music, like, for the first 2 seasons were very good. They're very Euphoria. So it's interesting to bring this vibe to the function.
You know, I kind of respect, I mean, because, again, we're saying, like, okay, he's done these epic, like, things, but maybe he's just trying to be with the times, and he's like, yeah, I'm working with these new artists. Not, like, this is a new artist, but, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's working with, like, younger artists, and, like, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I'm curious where that's going. It's wild.
What's your favorite Hans Zimmer score? And I think we're going to have the same answer.
Dun, 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 dun.
Okay.
Dark Knight music.
Oh. But maybe I thought you were going to say discombobulated.
Dun, 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 dun,
yes. Wow. I used to fall asleep listening to that music. And I used to, like, write at my little writing desk and be like, I'm writing my novels. It's so good. If you guys haven't heard the Sherlock Holmes 2008 soundtrack, that was the first movie I saw without my parents. I was 15. Or it was 2009, 2010, something like that.
I want to say 2008 or 2009. You know what?
I was in 9th grade.
It's really close to Iron Man because I remember, like, recently I was like, wow, he really had, like, a, you know, it's crazy to go from, like, you're at your lowest of your low, and then you go from that to Iron Man and Sherlock Holmes, and like with the span of like 2 years.
Yeah, well, because he did Gladiator soundtrack, and if you listen to the Gladiator,
I was talking about Robert Downey Jr., but yes.
Oh yeah, sorry. I was kind of curious. I was like, whoa, what happened to Hans Zimmer? It was like,
he went to prison.
Is he good? Good, bro?
No.
If you listen to the Gladiator soundtrack and you listen to the Pirates of the Caribbean soundtrack, they're actually like very similar, but I think it's because I was listening to this podcast about it, and I think like they did the Pirates of the Caribbean soundtrack so fast, they basically like give like 3 months to
that's crazy
or something insane.
Most iconic to
me. I actually like it better than Gladiator, but I'm sure like Hans Zimmer was just like
did he do the music for the second Gladiator as well?
He might have, probably. I would guess so. It was very similar to the first.
There's one called Strength and Honor, so I'm trying to see that. I can visually see like
just
Spotify like songs.
Okay, I was like, whoa, you just had like a weird moment there. You just had like That's So Raven moment. I was like, okay.
Those who didn't see, I went into the future.
Yeah, she looked really hard at the ground and was whispering to herself.
Anyway, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I could really talk about Hans Zimmer all day.
I really want to see, like, I think he's coming to Raleigh again.
That's crazy that he tours.
Yeah, I would... crazy, but like I bet him the way I would like change my schedule.
That's my
to
Eras
go
tour.
see,
It's my version of Eras tour.
actually, yes,
because really he has Eras.
Oh my God.
We should go together if he does.
we should. Okay, we're gonna look it up.
We have to go
after
all the way
this.
to Raleigh. Can he just come to Richmond or
Would
something?
you guys sponsor us to go to a Hans Zimmer concert?
Please sponsor us to go to a Hans Zimmer concert. I think do you think like in between songs he like talks?
I don't think so.
You don't think he talks at all?
I think he talks before and he talks after, like if it's like an orchestral performance. I don't think they usually like give context to songs.
Oh, I was hoping he'd give like little jokes, little like.
I mean, but I don't know. Maybe he's on Euphoria now, so
it's like, you know, like Taylor Swift like in between when she's like talking and she's like I don't know. I'm just thinking like, and he's like.
I mean, maybe he's trying to be hip, so maybe he's like, and by the way, so the vibe for this one.
He's like, the old Hans Zimmer is dead.
Yeah.
Hans Zimmer can't come to the phone right now. Why?
He's dead.
He's dead.
And then it's just Pirates of the Caribbean starts.
Discombobulate.
But anyways, I want to talk about another music icon that I learned today, which I guess maybe we're just giving free promos to people at this point, but Harry Styles is coming out with a vibrator.
Sorry, I cut that off. There's a lot of business ventures going on in these celebrities' lives.
There's a lot of entrepreneurs.
So this is interesting. Okay, so his new line is called Pleasing Yourself. It's set to launch July 25th. And, okay, so he originally had this, like, pleasing brand.
Yeah.
And so now this is, like, a new line. And
within, like, that same, like, marketing.
I did see something funny about it where it was, like, he should make a mold of his...
Okay, there was someone I knew once who did that of their boyfriend.
Wow.
And I remember, like, in high school just being like, what? Why would you do that?
You did that in high school?
Yeah, it was kind of wild.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So this seems like oh, by the way, I almost texted you and Emily. Shout out Emily if you're listening. But I almost texted you and Emily because I've been seeing, there's this girl on TikTok. I watch every single one when she does it. But okay, we had friend of the pod, Emily Grosjean, on, and we talked about One Direction. And we talked about, in that conversation, we talked about like the Imagines and the like Wattpad era of like One Direction girls.
I had no idea that this was going on in like the background of One Direction. You guys really like lit up my world.
And I'm not even a One Direction fan, but even I know, like, so...
It really, I was like, whoa.
The Imagines were crazy. Like, so this girl is on TikTok and she's reading these, like, Imagines, and they're so funny.
Can you explain what those are again?
It's like, basically, and again, these are like 15-year-old girls, like we said, like these passionate 15-year-old girls, like talking about, they're like obsessed with One Direction, and they'd be like, imagine, like, you're in the hospital and you wake up and... you're like, who gave you this heart? You know, it's like one of those, and it's like, you look over, whatever. I bet
that would be so fun to write if you're like 15 and in love with One Direction.
Or it's like, you know, a mean girl is like, do you still have that Zayn obsession? And it's like, well, and then Zayn walks in. Or the Imagines where it was like, your mom sold you to One Direction.
Yeah.
That was like a big one, I guess.
Have you ever written fan fiction?
No.
Or read fan fiction?
Have you?
Okay, when I was in middle school, I was like, I had to stop reading Harry Potter because I was like making me depressed that I couldn't go to Hogwarts. And I really wanted more of like the Lily and James Potter. So then I like started writing from their perspective. I don't remember anything about it. And then I remember being like really embarrassed that I took the pages out to the backyard and I buried them.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. They're under like a special tree that I buried things under.
Don't be insecure. Are they still there? We should dig them up.
Yeah, well, they were just paper, so I clearly like was not hanging out with people.
Aww.
I was just writing Harry Potter fan fiction and burying it in my backyard.
I support it.
Thank you. Can you imagine if they, anyways?
They what?
If they did like a Harry Potter vibrator thing, like God. Oh, the wand pun of any of them. The wand puns would be insane. It wouldn't be for me now. I'm not like that into it now.
The wand puns.
Yeah.
Those would go insane.
Anyway. Sorry, we got really off track there. So Harry Styles.
Oh yes, okay.
Is
so
creating
what I was going with that though was like, can you imagine those Imagine girls now being like? But to me, it's like this almost like this didn't like really like move me in any way. I was just like, okay.
That's the thing. I would really love for us to do just like a 10-minute episode where it's just like smash or pass, because like Harry Styles to me, I think he is attractive, but I'm not like attracted to him. And like I feel like he comes across like as the sex icon. Like when he came out with Watermelon Sugar and people were like, oh my God. I was like, wait, is he a sex icon? I'm like,
he's gone through so many.
I want to like feed him some bread.
He goes through this like androgynous. He's kind of in this androgynous,
which is fine. Like sometimes I find that,
but I feel like now it's like it's like a different vibe than before. I felt like he was sort of like, wasn't he kind of like a bad boy, and now it's like
I was never a One Directioner.
I don't know either. The thing is,
One Directionite.
One Directioner.
Okay.
One Direction. The only time I ever really found Harry Styles hot was when he was in Dunkirk, which says a lot about me.
Oh, and yeah,
I'm like once he was an actor, then I was like, all right, I'm in.
I mean this nicely, but like you like war. I think you're good. You.
I like Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Movies.
I can't get past. I don't think I can ever see him hot after "Don't Worry,
that,
Darling."
And that gave me
the monkey dance.
Ick.
Yeah,
he was supposed to be a puppet, Alexa.
Whatever.
You didn't understand.
But also, I saw a clip from it recently about how bad his like American like it literally was like bad. He just had a British accent for the second half of the film.
The thing is, that movie wasn't bad. It just like he kind of made it bad. Yeah. But like Florence Pugh really gave it her all in that movie. She tried.
Yeah, I wish
it just wasn't. I don't think he was the right person for that. But what I was gonna say was like I love Watermelon Sugar, so I kind of when that came out and then like Dunkirk, I was like there was like a moment there where I was kind of obsessed.
You were like almost there.
I was like there, and then now I'm just like whatever.
Also, I always say I cannot imagine what it would have been like if we had the podcast during the Don't Worry, Darling drama.
We say that all the time. I think we've even said like what do we wish we had been there for, and that was that.
Yeah. Ooh, you know what I wish we had been there for? The Bradgelina stuff. Can you imagine if we'd had a podcast back in like 2003? We're like 8 years old.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say I think I was 7.
Iconic.
I would love me with a podcast at 7. I had a lot to say.
I would love us at like 7 or 8, like having a podcast together. Can you imagine? Actually, I feel like would be kind of similar.
What would you have been like? What? Because I would have been talking about like Chicago, the movie, and like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah. I would have been talking about at like 8.
I would have been talking about everything
Lord of the
on
Rings.
This shirt.
Yeah, I would have been talking about Lizzie McGuire. I would have been talking about Lord of the Rings.
I'm wearing a Disney Channel.
Yeah,
shirt.
Sheeta Girls. I definitely would have been all things Disney Channel, all things Lord of the Rings. I've said that like 3 times now, like a psycho. Harry Potter, like standard shit. I think I definitely like. The thing is, I think we talked about this on a podcast before. Like you guys had asked me like once, like what is my favorite Disney princess, and it was like that's so weird. Is because
this is just a long. Sorry, it's really funny that you have been talking for a straight 2 minutes.
not about the Harry Styles.
I haven't asked you anything. Continue. I do want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, this break will be good for you.
Stop saying that. That's so mean to yourself.
The thing about me is I can talk.
Her leg is up.
Is fully up. What was it? Oh, I don't have like the thing is I never hated Disney princesses, but I was never like excited about them. You know what I mean? I did dress as Belle once for Spirit Week in high school, and my science teacher called me trailer trash Belle.
That's insane.
Yeah, he quit. There was something weird going on there. But anyways,
why did he call you trailer trash?
Because I was wearing like Converse and a thrifted dress, like yellow dress, and I was carrying.
That's just quirky. You were trying to be like, but you were trying to be Tumblr.
And I carried around a stack of 15 books all day. That's how dedicated I was.
You know what I really want to talk about at some point? Okay, well, first I want to respond to what
we will get back to Harry Styles, but this is better.
I mean, yeah. So I did dress up as Belle one time. I have this very distinct memory of my mom taking me to the Disney store. We were at a mall. You know, like a Disney store in a mall and you're 7, like, just prime. And I got a Belle costume. I don't know why I didn't even like Belle that much, but I wore, and I had her little gloves on. I just remember her taking me to like Starbucks or something, and I'm like eating a chocolate chip cookie with her white gloves on, and just in my Belle costume. I was so cute. Anyway, my favorite was...
I was trailer trash Belle, and you were like the real one.
I was, my favorite was Aurora, which...
I was gonna say, I could see you as Aurora.
I love Sleeping Beauty. It's really annoying to me how people hate on her, but I'm like, you know what? Okay, yeah, she's one-dimensional. She didn't do anything. That's fine.
All of them are. Like, what? Until, like, kind of recently. Yeah. Like, they didn't have a lot going on.
Exactly. That's fine with me. I actually love... Whatever. Anyway,
I can't tell you one thing about Snow White's personality except for that she like takes care of people.
They're all like kind. It's okay to be kind as well. You have to be like whatever. We've already had this conversation. I'm not like actually mad about it. It's just interesting. I love Sleeping Beauty. There's nothing more to it. See that. What was I gonna say? Oh, I was gonna say were you like on Tumblr ever? Like I was never on Tumblr, but like I would. This is specific, but
as you can imagine, I was putting a lot of depression stuff on my Tumblr, but also like hot.
Did you ever
Hot girl depression.
So 2014 Tumblr
Yes.
was 2014 Tumblr.
Yes.
But there was this thing that always really gets me. It's like people had these weird fascinations with like Disney World characters, particularly Peter Pan. Did you ever know, like, I don't know his name, but it was like the guy that played Peter Pan at Disney World at the time, Tumblr girls were like obsessed with him.
Really?
And I think like he and Wendy, the girl that was Wendy, ended up getting married in real life. But there is this like, we can cut this out if we need to, but there is this like one particularly like notorious post of this girl where she was like depressed, I guess, and she went to Disney World and she had like, I'll say like,
she had been
she had marks. Yeah, she had, but yes. And she was saying that she was taking a picture with him and he saw her arm and was like, pirates did that to you, didn't they? And then he whispers,
what?
Then he like kisses her arm and like whispers in her ear and is like, stop doing this to yourself. What? Like, you're beautiful. It's like, that absolutely did not happen.
What?
It's so wild. It's one of my favorite, like,
that is crazy.
I've seen people talk about it on TikTok lately because everyone's just like, why did we allow that to happen on Tumblr?
Tumblr is such a wild time. Like,
it makes me like roll with laughter. It's like one of the funniest
What
things.
is like when you think of Tumblr, like what is the aesthetic you think of? I think of, it's like,
I think of black framed glasses and I think of mustache.
Yes,
fingers.
I think of Converse on a pair of train tracks, like taken by like the first ever iPhone.
No, I know that photo. Yeah, it's is it black and white?
Yes, yeah, and it's got maybe like the picnic, little like writing graphic over it. Or I think of, there was a time where I feel like Tumblr was all Supernatural, Sherlock, or I'm forgetting another, Doctor Who, yes, which I was in all of those fandoms, but then I would get on Tumblr and I'd be like looking,
never mind.
I'd be like, I'm a fan, which like
I'm not.
Did I ever tell you my mom, when I liked Doctor Who, got me for Christmas, everything was Doctor Who, including, they were like police phone call box, like lights to go in my dorm room.
That's how well I know you at this point.
I'm like 20 years old, and I remember I was just like, thank you, and I immediately donated them.
Because I always think about that with you when you're like, I liked something and now I can't anymore because like people just keep getting me like gifts.
What's crazy though is like, I was like, I'm not gonna put these police phone call lights in my dorm room, but I put up posters of Kate Middleton that I cut out from a calendar I had of her.
Somehow more terrifying.
Yeah, I was like, the line, it doesn't exist.
It's two different fans.
Yeah.
So you're right. Anyway, I had to bring that up because it's just, I don't even know where I was going with that, but it really makes me laugh when I think about it.
So get back to the Harry Styles vibrator. It's in, like, I was just like, oh, okay. So it's from the Pleasing brand, and it's Harry Styles posted on Instagram. He invited fans to please yourself like you mean it in a voiceover with a handwritten note. But I do think that what's nice is that the Pleasing brand is going to make a financial contribution to Planned Parenthood.
Yeah, that's great.
To support them. That's great. The other stuff is whatever.
It's just interesting.
They're also planning to release a line of condoms soon.
Yeah,
I was like, do we need more condom brands? I don't know.
I know. I think it's just interesting because it's kind of one of those things where it's like, I don't feel like it really made a huge movement with people. Like, unless I'm just on the wrong side of the internet, but I just feel like before, like, can you imagine what that, again, I'm going back to these like imagines, can you imagine what this would have done?
Can you imagine imagines?
What, like, people, I don't feel like are people freaking out about this.
Maybe like here's the thing, the One Directioners now are like, people in their late 20s, early 30s, so maybe they're not like publicly being like, hell yeah, Harry Styles, but I think privately they're just like, oh, okay. I don't know. It's interesting. Also, like, again, they're making condoms. Do you remember in high school-ish when, like, the Fire and Ice condoms came out and everyone would always be talking to them? They're talking to the condoms, talking about them as though they were, like, the wildest thing. And they'd always be like, oh, it burns, it hurts, or whatever. And I think about it now, and I'm like, everyone was trying really hard to seem like they were sexually active. And it's like, I think about the people talking about it, and it's like, you were not. Yeah. You were not. And that's fine.
Yeah.
since we're not going to be here for the next few weeks, usually at the start of the month, we do our upcoming joys, and our question of the week this week, we ask people what you guys are looking forward to that's coming out in August.
Yes.
And if...
Go ahead.
If you ever want to answer the question of the week, we post one every week, usually pertaining to a topic, but this time we did kind of a general one. So if you go to our Instagram at Poppin' In Podcast, you can reply and maybe we'll give you a shout out.
Yes. And so our question of the week this week was, we just wanted to know what new releases you guys are looking forward to in August, and maybe we can like talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
So Megan said the movie Weapons, which I don't know how you feel. When I first heard about it, they were trying to do that thing. They were trying to do that marketing thing, I think, where they like barely show anything about it. Like kind of like what they did with like Long Legs. That's what I felt like at first. Like I didn't really know what it was about. I didn't understand what it was about.
Yeah.
And to me, like it was like they were showing so little about it that I was kind of like, okay, well now I'm like not interested then.
Yeah.
But now I just saw the preview. Matthew and I were talking about it the other day. We saw the preview for it and I was like, that actually looks so scary.
Yeah, okay. When you were like, I'm not that interested in it, I was like...
Because I hadn't seen, like, a preview for it. I just kept seeing it's just... all I knew was it was about, like, kids who, like, leave their homes randomly. For those who don't know, the movie Weapons is a horror movie coming out. It's by the same director, I think, as Barbarian.
Yeah.
And it's about, like, basically these kids who are all in, like, one class. They, like, all leave their homes at the same time in the middle of the night. And they disappear. But that's all I knew about it, and I was just kind of like, okay, like, I don't know. But I saw the preview for it. It looks so scary.
Yes, that's why, again, like, you were like, I don't know if I'm that interested, and I wanted to be like, I'm gonna force you to come see this with us, because the thing is, I'm down to see any horror film usually. Well, I'm down to see anything, but I was like, this looks good. I loved Barbarian. But I also mentioned it to Chris, and he said, he was like, I think you overestimate how interested in seeing movies in the theater I am. And I was just like, ah.
I mean, to be fair, sometimes, like, there's movies where I'm like, so actually we were saying about, Matthew and I were both talking about Weapons, and he was like, I would see that. And I was like, I would too. And I was kind of like, maybe on streaming. I don't know if I would go to the movies to see it.
I would go to the movies on discount day.
I mean, for the most part, I do really just see movies on discount day.
Yeah. Actually, I've noticed, like, if we can't see it on discount day, we, like, will wait till the next day. Or till the next week that we can see it.
No, it's true. And there's certain movies where I'm like, I will see it. Like, Fantastic Four is one we do happen to be seeing on a discount day. But I was like, I would see that any day. Because I'm excited for that movie. But, yeah, Weapons, I don't know. I may or may not see it in the movies. Like, I could take that or leave it. But it does look very scary.
Yeah. I feel like seeing a scary movie in the theaters is like an experience, though. Sometimes it can be better for worse. Like sometimes if there's a lot of people in the theater, they make it worse. But
Megan just told us that she saw I Know What You Did Last Summer, like the new one.
I did not think that was going to be good.
So here's the thing. As you guys know, and I'm saying you guys, like you, I don't know if the listeners know, but I love I Know What You Did Last Summer. It's like one of my, it's like that and Scream. Like, I love those movies. Like, it's like my favorite, like, teen slasher movie. Whatever. Mm-hmm. It's one of my favorite horror movies. They made a reboot, which I feel like hasn't even been talked about that much. But I feel like they're trying to build off, like, they're trying to copy the success of, like, the Scream reboots, which have done very well. But apparently this movie is, like, it's gotten really bad reviews. It's, like, and Megan was telling me the plot of it today. It sounds so stupid. I was just like, damn.
It does, yeah.
My mom and I were, like, maybe going to go see it, and now I'm just like, I'm good.
Yeah, I had no interest.
We're fine to pretend it doesn't exist.
I liked the first one.
I love it.
I know you do.
And then Joe said Freakier Friday.
Ooh, okay. I actually will actively be not seeing that. I couldn't watch the trailer.
The same way.
I was like, one, why is there a British person in this? Two, I love that Lindsay Lohan is having a renaissance, but I just like have a hard time seeing her on screen. And like the whole, like, just watching the trailer, I was like, we just didn't need this.
We didn't need it. I saw her, I've been seeing her in a preview lately. Again, we've been watching Reno 911, and like there's a lot of like her commercial on Paramount Plus, but she looks really good in the commercial.
Okay.
But I don't know how you said the last movie you saw her in, her acting was like whatever.
Yeah, but it was like a Christmas love movie.
But I see this kind of being the same way. I think this is like, I know a lot of people will see this for nostalgic reasons, but I'm good. I don't like remakes. I don't think we need them. But I did see the preview for the first time, like, yesterday. I saw it, like, it showed up. And, like, they showed Chad Michael Murray, and, like, that is the guy in it, right? Yeah, he's in it. So is the owner of that Chinese restaurant that they, like, go to.
That's funny.
Yeah, and I was like, that's, like, so exciting, actually. But I still probably won't see it.
If you just go see it, you should. If anyone wants to go see it, they should. I just personally won't be.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
I mean, like, maybe if I ever saw it on streaming one day, I would watch it. But I probably won't go to the movies to see it.
What are you excited for?
So this is a little bit further in the future than August or September, which I know we were kind of keeping them to that time frame, but I'm going past that because I really don't know what else is coming out in August necessarily. But I can give one.
Okay.
But then I'll give my other one. I'm excited. We saw a preview the other day, and I don't think I had seen like the full preview, but The Roses, which is like a remake of War of the Roses with Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman.
I've never heard of either of this.
What?
Like, I know of the War of the Roses, the literal
We
British
saw the preview
war.
The other day with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh, yes, that does look really good.
Wait, what?
I didn't know that's what it was called. I didn't know.
No, even though I was like naming the names, you were just like...
There was a lot of previews that I was like, I want to see that.
But actually, all of the previews...
the Spike Lee movie, I'm excited about.
Yeah, that looked good. All of the previews actually looked really good.
Yeah.
But no, the Roses one, I've never seen War of the Roses, so like I don't know I don't know. But it's like a remake of that. Okay. But it had like Andy Samberg and Kate McKinnon in it too, and like I love Benedict Cumberbatch. I love Olivia Colman. Like I'm like this is gonna be them as like a husband and wife.
Yeah,
and the whole thing is they're feuding. Like I'm loving it.
I always thought Olivia Colman was like a lot older than him for some reason, but I don't know why.
I think she's one of those people who kind of looks, and no offense to her, I think she's gorgeous, but I think she kind of just like looks older than she is.
I mean, she looks like she's been the same age ever since I saw her for the first time in Broadchurch. Like I feel like she's not changed at all, which is impressive.
Let's see. I would guess she's in her 50s. She's 51. Okay. And I think Benedict Cumberbatch is not like, which is crazy, but I don't think he's actually too far behind. He's 49.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Which, gosh, he's like so old now. Not that that's old. Not that that's old, but you know, like.
Someone call the Crypt Keeper. He's old.
I just had there's like an earworm, you know, like a quote that you just like always have in your head. But in Freaky Friday, when she's like, oh, I'm like the Crypt Keeper.
Yeah. Yes.
Anyway, my other, do you want to do your next upcoming?
Yeah, so my next one is Blood of My Blood. It's the Outlander, what do you call it, like a spinoff?
Oh, okay.
And I think it's about Claire's parents and like how they fell in love and like goes back in time with like war and stuff. And it comes out on August 8th on Starz. I do have a subscription I will be watching and I will be letting you all know.
Okay.
Also, I don't know if this counts because it comes out on the 30th, but Together.
Yes, I do want to see that. I'm excited.
The 30th of July.
Oh, well, we will not be here. But
we'll see when you come back.
I hope it's still out. Yeah. I will not be back for like 2 weeks, so we gotta...
Okay, we'll figure it out.
But I'm excited for that. Plagiarized or not.
Yeah.
It may have been plagiarized.
Yeah.
We're talking about the movie with Alison Brie and Dave Franco where they're like, literally, it's like a body horror type movie.
Fused together, yeah.
When you said the thing about Outlander, it reminded me that there is now... Okay, I never watched Big Bang Theory, and I didn't watch Young Sheldon, but I know a lot of people are, like, huge fans of those shows. Like, especially, like, Young Sheldon seems to have, like, a weirdly big, like,
I don't understand
fandom.
that.
Like,
I
don't get it either. It's so big that they have now made another spinoff of Young Sheldon, and it's called, like...
Older Sheldon?
It's something Ann Mindy. It has, like, it has Emily Osment in it. And I always see the previews for it. Again, I think I'll link Paramount. It looks so stupid.
I think what we need to all agree on is that we're over the sitcom.
But why are we doing that? Like,
I don't know, because
apparently it's about Sheldon's parents now. I'm like, why do we need that?
My parents loved The Big Bang Theory, my dad specifically, and I really liked it when I was younger and didn't know any better.
It's so not funny to me.
And now, yes, I realize, like, it's not funny. But the thing is, it's not funny in a typical sitcom way, where it's almost like I watched, like, 2.5 Men again like, I see episodes from it.
No,
I'm like,
that was not funny.
That was not funny. Or, like, honestly, most sitcoms from that era. But at the time, like, that was the humor. So maybe it was. But then Young Sheldon, like, it's shot differently. Like, the whole vibe,
like,
everything is it doesn't feel like a spinoff. It feels like a completely different thing.
But I'm like, what makes that show have so many, like, for real, it has, like, stans. Like, it has, like, people, like, really obsessed with it. And I'm like, this is, like, a sitcom based on, maybe it's, like, kind of dramatic, too. I don't know. But anyway, they're making this, like, other spinoff. I'm like, holy shit. Like, it's crazy.
That is crazy.
Anyway, that just reminded me when you said, because aren't there, like, multiple spinoffs of Outlander, too? Or is this the first one?
It was the first one.
Okay.
Don't throw Outlander under that same bus.
I'm putting Outlander and
the Big
Young
Bang
Sheldon in the same universe.
I will end this podcast now. Stop. Delete.
Please don't accidentally delete. It's like one of my greatest fears, by the way. Okay, my last one is Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery. It's the third movie in the Knives. And for anyone who knows, Knives Out I love Knives Out.
I don't know why, but for some reason I thought this movie already came out, and I was like, it must have been really bad because no one is talking about it.
No, it comes out in December, so that's why I said it's like a little later. But it has obviously Daniel Craig, but it has Josh O'Connor, Andrew Scott, and Josh O'Connor plays a priest. Hello.
Chris always calls Daniel Craig's character Foghorn Leghorn.
No, he literally is.
Yeah.
It's a crazy accent.
It is crazy.
And I love him for it.
Like, there was like a trivia question where it's like, what's his name? And Chris was like, I don't know, Foghorn Leghorn ass. Like, I don't know.
It's weird because, like, Daniel Craig, when he's like, so obviously James Bond, iconic, like, he's great as James Bond, but then, like, whenever he does other movies, sometimes I'm just not impressed. Like, I watched, what's the movie that he was just in with Drew Starkey? It was a Queer.
I thought you really liked that.
You know, I started out really liking it, and then it got weird. And, like, his character was, like, interesting. I didn't really love his character. I don't know. It was, like, a very beautifully shot movie, but I didn't, like, overall love it.
Yeah.
And his character was just, like, interesting. I don't know. But then it's, like, I seem to only really like when Daniel Craig plays either James Bond or, what's his name? I almost said Hercules Poirot.
Basically.
Yeah.
Whatever his name is. Yeah. I could see that.
What's his name? Anyway, I'm very excited for that movie. And, I'm also excited for Now You See Me 3.
Oh, yeah. When does that come out?
Good question. Let me look that up. I just said that off the top of my head.
While you're doing that, since we're talking a little bit further out, I'm excited for the next season of Only Murders in the Building.
Yes.
September 9th.
You know what's crazy? I was listening to the theme song in my car this morning on my way to work.
The best theme song.
And I was thinking, because it's such a fall show, it gives me my fall vibes.
It used to piss me off that it came out in summer.
July, yeah. So I was thinking in my head, I was like, I wonder when I think it's like the 5th season now.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Maybe the 5th season.
Yeah.
5th season's coming out. Okay, can we stop after 5 then?
Yeah. But I was so determined to, like, be like, this is my fall show, that when the last season came out, I would literally, it's like mid-summer, it's 98 degrees outside, and I'd be like, I'm making
candle, yeah.
I'm like making my little thing of soup, and I'd be like, oh, I'm sitting down to eat this with my little blanket, and I'm like sweating.
So Now You See Me 3 comes out in November 14th. But I was just gonna say, so I've been watching the new season of Poker Face, and part of it takes place in New York City, and Natasha Lyonne's character is wearing, like, outfits very similar to Selena Gomez.
Oh,
Have
really?
you seen those ones? Have you seen those episodes?
No.
She's wearing, like, okay, it's not that many outfits, but, sorry, it's, like, one outfit, but she's wearing tights is all I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was, like, an outfit with, like, tights, and it was, like, very cute.
We just watched the Supermarket episode. Supermarket Santa.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I don't know how far we are, but...
Where it was kind of like the Best Buy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was a good one. But anyways, I think that's all we have for you guys today. As always, thanks for joining us. A reminder that we will not be back for like 2 weeks, but we will be back.
And we'll be in your hearts.
Yeah, and we'll be better than ever. And we hope that, like, this absence will make your heart grow fonder. And in the meantime, you know what you could do? You could re-listen to old episodes. You could share them with friends, family, loved ones. That's what you can do. We'll put you to work while we're taking a break.
Yes.
Because you love us and we love you, and that's how this relationship works. And we thank you for listening.
Get to work, people.
Yeah. But we'll see you next time. Bye.